All right. I guess I'll just try to start from the top. This is the GliaDex Dex demo, and it's a UNA app, which means it can universally interact with multiple chains. So we can see here in my MetaMask is 1.35 ETH on Robston. And then if we go here to this little MetaMask dialog here, we can see there's also 5171 or 5471 CKB held on Nervos by the same address. And that supports this ability to go cross-chain using that same address. So we can trade here ETH for CKB. So let's do 0.25 ETH. And we'll take an order. 1 ETH for 1300 CKB. We'll receive 324 CKB on the other side. So we'll place that order. There's some information here about the trade fee, the cross-chain fee, and the price of the CKB for ETH. And we can confirm the order, which is going to have to confirm on Ethereum to move the funds cross-chain. And then we have a standard MetaMask dialog here with the gas limit, gas price, and what we'll pay. We'll just confirm that on MetaMask. And we can see now that the transaction has been submitted on Etherscan. And down here, we can see that it's pending. So let's pull that up on Etherscan. So this looks like it's just a pending transaction on Etherscan like any other Ethereum transaction. All right, so we'll move out of here. And I also have some CK ETH on Nervos. So this is ETH that's already gone over the bridge to CKB and is wrapped on Nervos. So we'll trade this CK ETH for CKB. And we'll do the max here. We'll take an order. And we'll receive 19 CKB for our ETH. Place that order. The trade fee, transaction fees, all of which are pretty low compared to what we're used to on Ethereum. And confirm that order. And again, it's a MetaMask dialog, and you're going to sign the message. And then we've got this transaction that's submitted on the CKB Explorer this time because this transaction is only occurring on CKB because that ETH has already moved over the bridge. And so this is just a transaction for an SUDT called CK ETH to exchange for CKB. And we'll give this one a second to confirm as well. So while I was making that transaction, I saw that the transaction on Etherscan was confirmed for the first one, this ETH to CKB. If we go to info, yeah, we can see that the ETH has been locked, and now we're just waiting for the bridge to move that fund cross-chain, but we have to wait for confirmation on Robston.
Matt, so that contract that's being interacted with on the Etherscan tab, is that something that was built out by the Nervos team, or is that like a relay, or how's that working out?
Yeah, I don't have all of the information around the details of that contract, but I know it is built by the team that built all of this cross-chain functionality. So it is a new contract on Ethereum to facilitate the cross-chain interactions. I just saw another. Go ahead.
And where does Force Bridge kind of like play into the cross-chain stuff? Like, is it in play here? Is it something that's being used by the DEX right now?
Yeah, so all of these interactions where we're moving things from ETH to CKB it's all facilitated through the Force Bridge, which is really just this collection of different pieces of functionality that roll together. Things that are on the Ethereum side, on the CKB side, and how you keep those secure. And yeah, this DEX really does demonstrate the usage of the Force Bridge and how we'll continue to see it grow.
Yeah, I think something that's important to point out to everybody who just watched this is that Matt didn't actually install anything new. everything was done through MetaMask. So if you were an Ethereum user who wanted to do your trades for less on a decentralized exchange, he just went cross-chain and was able to submit his order to get CKB purely without installing anything new. Everything was done on MetaMask. And so for users out there that are active traders, this is just going to mean that they're effectively able to move to another platform seamlessly with a very single interface, an easy to use interface, and it's going to allow them to save a lot of money on fees down the road.
One part that still feels kind of like understated to me is that when we go and we see CKB on MetaMask, right? Like, I think the instinct for a lot of people is going to be that CKB is somehow existing in that address as a ERC 20. So like, how is it that we're able to send CKB to an Ethereum address and have it live there?
Well, the address, the actual addresses are being mapped automatically. So MetaMask is providing the private keys just like it would to Ethereum, but instead of going to an Ethereum address, it's being mapped directly to a CKB address. And instead of using ERC20 tokens on Ethereum, it's using our SUDT standard for tokens. And so this is again, enabling that interoperability that has been talked about for so long in our industry, where you're watching it happen in a way that is so seamless. It seemed like, nothing even actually occurred. This entire action here that Matt just went through, it looks like a centralized exchange, but it's actually being done in a completely decentralized way.
Yeah, that ability to just use your Ethereum address to do things, I think like we get used to it because lots of chains use the same kind of format for Ethereum, that Ethereum addresses use. But the idea that I have like one set of keys that's in MetaMask and then I'm doing stuff on different chains really is novel, and it's due to the cryptographic flexibility of CKB that CKB can confirm that an Ethereum account signed this message. And yeah, I think we've already got 18 confirmations on the CKE to CKB transaction. So this is a transaction that's only happening on CKB. You can see how fast this was confirmed. The one flowing over the bridge, I think probably still needs a bit more time. I think that's reloaded there. All right, 33 block confirmations, so we'll probably see it relatively soon, but let's see. Okay, looks like we've got a CKB transaction here, cross-chain to place the order. That has 4 confirmations, so we should be able to see that CKB from that transaction over here.
Yeah, did it actually just fill there?
Yeah, I think so.
I just saw Phil, yeah.
Yeah, because this was, I don't remember the numbers. I wasn't quite keeping track of it, but the block explorer would have me believe that that transaction went through.
This is using a traditional order book system, which uses limit-based orders, which is opposed to the more familiar style of Uniswap, which is using AMM style. Now, the advantage of order book is there's not actually any slippage. If you place a big order on Uniswap, you're not actually getting the advertised price. It's going to change, and it'll warn you about that, but you don't fully fill at the price that you expected. Now, with order book, you're guaranteed the price that you want, and that's a much more attractive option for especially professional traders who really know exactly what they're going for. And so when we're looking at this, we're thinking, well, this is great, but what is why is this really relevant when we have exchanges out there that already do order book? Well, the answer to that is this is number one. This is a decentralized exchange. This is something that is outside the hands of a central organization that can be shut down or restrict trades. Like we've seen more recently with the GameStop phenomenon that has occurred, that a lot of traders actually got shut out of their exchanges and were unable to buy the stocks that they wanted to do. Some of them even got forced liquidated out of their positions. And this is something that we're watching right in front of us, intervention by people who don't want you to take their money. And this is why it's so important to start using tools like the DEXs that are available, because you're actually taking the power out of their hands. We're using a set of rules that have been agreed upon by everyone, and they're forced to stick to them.
Yeah, I know we were talking about this earlier, but I had a couple people reach out to me, right? And they were talking about how they might have been interacting with the app and they weren't even able to buy something like Doge, right? And I think maybe you could talk a little bit about if that is a crypto issue or if that is like a centralized application issue.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, what you're talking about are centralized issues. Like when you're talking about something like a DEX, a true DEX, then there's no way for anybody to stop you from buying or selling at any point in time. When you're talking about a centralized exchange, all of a sudden, the rules and regulations that are present throughout the entire industry, especially the trading industry, come into play, and they can tell you what you can and cannot buy.
Yeah, man. As far as like just going back to this DEX, like where do you see this DEX going, right? Like, is it something that is just going to be just for Ethereum chains, or you think that this could easily be kind of like expanded to include other chains like the EOS chain or like a Tron chain, for example?
Yeah, so from the town hall yesterday, Jan was saying that the focus in expanding the ecosystem is going to be on the chains with the most users, and also chains that are already supported by PW SDK. So something like Tron or EOS, it's already kind of set up, and I think the idea with Force Bridge is to provide this kind of framework that can be easily extended to work with different chains as people see fit. And this first bridge that we see to Ethereum is really just the beginning. And one thing I want to add about the order book DEX, because I know AMMs are all of the rage. And when GliaSwap, the DEX was first put out there, the idea was this kind of hybrid DEX where you could do AMM style transactions and also do orders on that if someone did have a certain price that they wanted to buy or sell at. And this type of functionality has all been split up in the interest of facilitating development, but the idea is still to get to that hybrid DEX kind of functionality. And this order book DEX that we see, GliaDex is really just the first step, and after that will be GliaSwap, which will be a production ready AMM, production ready code that people can fork and run. And yeah, from there we'll see how these pieces can come back together. But yeah, I think what we're seeing here with the cross-chain functionality and all of the possibilities that for innovation in DeFi and also in cross-chain transactions is really exciting.